This evening, first, the government and the Ghana Teachers Union clash over union dues. Hear why compliance with a court order remains in limbo. Plus, a family mourns the loss of a father after a tragic gas explosion. Could this incident spark major safety reforms in Guyana? Also expanding access to healthcare. Find out how telemedicine is transforming the lives of residents in Ghana's most remote regions. And violence in schools leaves students injured and parents outraged. What is the Ministry of Education doing to tackle bullying? Finally, President Trump's controversial plans for Latin America sparks tension. Hear why his bold moves are raising alarm across the region. Stay tuned, these stories and more are coming up next on Headline News Update. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for January 23rd, 2025. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, Attorney General Anil Nandlal has stated that the government is following the High Court's order regarding the deduction of membership dues for the Ghana Teachers Union. Speaking during his weekly program, Issues in the News, Nandlal explained that the government had reached out to the Ghana Teachers Union twice, requesting a verified list of union members to ensure compliance with the court order.
How can we deduct union dues from all teachers when the judge says you must deduct it only from members of the union?
The Attorney General emphasized that taking money from non-members' salaries would be illegal. Despite these efforts, Nandlal stated that the GTU has not provided the requested information, making it challenging for the government to comply fully with the court's instructions. Mark Light, the Ghana Teachers Union president at the time, had previously argued that the government could use existing teachers' data instead of asking for additional details. However, Nandlal explained that this approach could lead to deductions from non-union members, which is against the law.
We are asking for the information so that there can be compliance with the court order. And the information has not been forthcoming. So how do you want us to comply with the order? How do you want the government to comply? Deducting wrongly from people's salaries, and then the government will then be liable? Because if we deduct wrongly dues from people's salary, if a person who is not a member of the union, we take their salary, we take union dues from their salary, we would be liable. We would be committing an illegal act.
This clarification comes after the Court of Appeal denied the government's request for a temporary halt to the enforcement of the High Court order. The Attorney General noted that this decision contradicts a 2000 Court of Appeal precedent which found no legal obligations for the government to deduct dues for unions.
I am not surprised by the ruling because I had advised the cabinet that the government doesn't have a track record of winning cases in the Guyana Court of Appeal. And I'm not casting any aspersions. If you check the statistics, they will bear out that statement. So I'm not surprised. But we are going to challenge that decision.
Meanwhile, the issue remains unresolved as the government waits for the GTU to cooperate, and the government's appeal of the High Court ruling remains pending. On a different note, shocking cases of school violence have surfaced, with students injured following bullying and attacks in two separate incidents. For more details, here's Malcolm Carter.
Two students of Westminster Secondary School, West Bank Demerara, have been suspended following a violent incident in the school's washroom that left a 13-year-old boy with serious injuries to his right eye. The incident, which occurred on January 17th, reportedly stemmed from a week of bullying endured by the 13-year-old victim at the hands of older students. In an interview with Kaiser News, the boy revealed that the bullying included inappropriate touching, which left him uncomfortable. Frustrated, he confronted one of his bullies, only to be attacked by two students in the washroom. The young man stated that they hit him in the head and eye, then moments later he ran out of the washroom to the office for help. His mother was enraged at the condition of her son and the school's failure to take him for immediate medical treatment. The boy and one of the attackers were suspended, and the attacker's parent have been ordered to cover half of the victim's medical bills. The mother expressed her dissatisfaction with the school's handling of the situation and called on the Ministry of Education to take more decisive action against bullying and violence in schools. Separately, another incident of school violence allegedly occurred on the same day at West Demerara Secondary School, where a 14-year-old boy was beaten by a group of 17 boys in the washroom. He was threatened not to report the incident but did, and the Ministry of Education Welfare Department is investigating. The Ministry of Education has launched probes into both incidents to address the growing concerns about bullying and violence in schools. Reporting for Headline News Update, Malcolm Carter.
Thanks, Malcolm. A devastating gas explosion has claimed the lives of a husband and wife, leaving their family shattered. The tragedy raises urgent concerns about gas safety in Guyana. Here again is Malcolm Carter with the details.
A family's slim chance of hope of holding on to one surviving parent was shattered when 58-year-old Manu Suku passed away on Tuesday evening at the Georgian Public Hospital. Suku and his wife Basmati Ganpat were severely burnt after a gas explosion on January 4, 2025 at his Fulis East Coast Demerara home. 55-year-old Ganpat had tragically succumbed to her injuries just days earlier. The explosion, caused by a gas leak from a gas cylinder, severely burnt both victims, Ganpat with 80% of her body burnt and Suku with 68%, leaving their families in a deep state of sorrow. The explosion also caused extensive damage to their home, with repair costs exceeding $1 million. The family are considering legal action against the gas company, which has not yet contacted them. This tragic incident adds to growing concerns about gas safety in Guyana, where previous gas explosions have also resulted in severe injuries and deaths. The Competition and Consumer Affairs Commission has launched an investigation into a series of gas bottle-related explosions that have caused severe injuries and extensive property damage in recent months. Similar explosions in Maikoni, Better Hope, and other areas have also been reported, with victims blaming defective gas bottles and regulators. The Competition and Consumer Affairs Commission urges consumers to exercise caution when cooking gas products and report any issues via their website or WhatsApp. Just recently, a mother was able to save her family when she encountered a leaking gas bottle. As investigations continue, the findings are highly anticipated as the public demands accountability and enhanced safety measures. Reporting for Headline News Update, Malcolm Carter.
Thanks, Malcolm. Stick around when we return. 6-year-old boy's life upended by shooting, family struggles amid legal and medical battle, and police ramp up traffic enforcement in Region 2.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road, Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Hurry Smalls make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown, telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. A young boy's life was forever changed after being caught in a crossfire of a Charleston shooting. Here's Malcolm Carter with that tragic story.
6-year-old Jeremiah Gustave's life changed forever on July 9, 2024, when he was caught in the crossfire of a shooting at Charles Street, Charlestown. Standing beside his mother, Keisha Gustave, who operates a food stall, Jeremiah was struck in the head when a gunman on a black motorcycle fired 4 shots at another man identified as Crab or Odell Garnett. Garnett escaped, but Jeremiah was critically injured and rushed to the hospital, where his condition was listed as serious. Investigators recovered 2 9mm spent shells at the scene. Initially, police issued a wanted bulletin for Marlon Marcus, known as Mice Man, who was later charged in the shooting. However, charges against Marcus were dropped in October 2024 under the direction of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Garnett now remains the sole accused and is charged with Jeremiah's attempted murder. Prosecutors are expected to present video evidence at the next court hearing, scheduled for January 24, 2025. Jeremiah has undergone multiple surgeries, including one recently done. While he shows slight movement in his toes and head, he remains unstable to speak or return to school. His family is struggling financially due to mounting medical and therapy costs, but they remain hopeful for his recovery. Reporting for Headline News Update, Malcolm Carter.
Thanks, Malcolm. The government is set to increase the number of telemedicine centers in Ghana this year. This is to ensure equitable access to healthcare services nationwide. Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, said the targeted areas are in regions 1, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Currently, we have 8 to 9 sites in and around these regions. So first of all, we want to expand that. So we're hoping that we can double that. And so that's one of the things we'll be working on.
The initiative, launched in 2022, began as a pilot in Region 9. It has since expanded to 23 communities across multiple regions, bridging the gap for remote populations. Dr. Anthony explained that the telemedicine enables real-time communication between patients and medical professionals. It allows healthcare workers to remotely diagnose, evaluate, and treat patients through integrated audio, video, and medical devices. The program has been particularly impactful for maternal care, with pregnant women in regions 1 and 8 now receiving ultrasound and obstetric consultations remotely. Telepathology has also been introduced to assist diabetic patients.
We also have been using telemedicine to do things like teleophthalmology. For diabetic patients, they need to get retinal scans every year, and we are able to use AI to see whether there are changes in the retina. And that has been helpful in managing our diabetic patients.
The minister emphasized that telemedicine is part of the government's broader strategy to transform Ghana's healthcare sector into a world-class system. With this expansion, community health workers will have 24/7 access to specialists at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, ensuring timely and advanced medical support for underserved areas. In other news, police in Regional Division 2 have intensified daily traffic enforcement to target violations under the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act. The most common offenses include speeding, driving vehicles with illegal tint, unlicensed motorcycle riders, breaches of insurance, obscure license plates, and failure to wear seatbelts. Offenders have been issued tickets. Others are expected to face court summons. The initiative aims to improve road safety and ensure compliance with traffic laws. Authorities urge drivers to adhere to regulations to avoid penalties and enhance road safety for all users. Don't go away after the break. India, Bangladesh border tension. Delhi accused of breaching fencing agreements. And 3 arrested in stolen livestock case in Antigua.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Now we look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Good evening, I'm Malcolm Carter. Welcome to our regional and international news segment, keeping you informed and up to date with the trending news stories worldwide. In the Caribbean, Antigua police arrested 3 individuals after discovering suspected stolen livestock. During a routine patrol, officers found a concealed vehicle containing 3 occupants and 3 goats in the trunk. One suspect attempted to flee but was apprehended. The goats were returned to their owner and the vehicle was seized as evidence. Meanwhile, in Europe, a French woman won a European Court of Human Rights appeal after French courts blamed her for her divorce due to the lack of sexual relations with her husband. The ECHR ruled this violated her right to private and family life, citing unjustified interference in her sexuality. The ruling is expected to impact French law, preventing similar divorce rulings and challenging the concept of marital duty. Now we turn our attention to North America. President Donald Trump's return to office has raised concerns in Latin America with his promise to, quote, restore order and threats to reclaim the Panama Canal. His administration, influenced by figures like Marco Rubio, aims to curb China's influence in the region. Al Jazeera's Lucia Newman reports.
During his election campaign, Donald Trump repeatedly referred to Latin America as the source of drugs, undocumented migrants, and criminals who are contaminating the United States. Now that he's back in office, he's promising to, quote, restore order.
And I'm afraid that with Trump, there are signals that we're going back to the 19th century, diplomacy of the 19th century.
The former Chilean foreign minister is referring in part to Trump's threat to take back control of the Panama Canal, by military means if necessary, a threat that's triggered condemnation throughout Latin America.
Panama is 100% sovereign in its territory, and the canal is and will continue to be Panamanian.
There are also concerns about how far the regional policies of the new U.S. administration will be shaped by its ideological strongmen. Secretary of State nominee Marco Rubio and his special envoy to Latin America, Mauricio Claver Carón, both Cuban Americans. And that means bad news for Cuba and Venezuela. But ideology aside, restoring order in Latin America, as Trump says, means reducing the enormous influence of China, whose massive investments in this region have displaced the United States. During his first administration, Trump sent senior officials to Chile, Brazil, Argentina, and Peru to insist on his belief that Chinese capital spreads corruption and erodes good governance in the region. This time round, pressure to cut China out is expected to increase.
I think we have to be prepared for a permanent reality show, a situation of many criticisms, of many upheavals, of statements that later may or may not be followed up.
Chile's former presidential advisor says the new U.S. administration should see Latin America as a strategic ally that needs help with issues like fighting poverty, rather than as a group of countries that has to take orders, as was the case when the United States really did call the shots in this region. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, Santiago.
Finally, tensions are rising along the border between India and Bangladesh. Officials from both countries are expected to meet in mid-February to discuss border concerns. Al Jazeera's Tanvir Chowdhury reports.
Relations between Dhaka and New Delhi have been strained since former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina was ousted in Bangladesh and fled to India, where she remains. On January the 18th, tension escalated at the Chapai-Nuabganj border after a dispute about the cutting down of trees and trimming of grass near Zero Line, the international boundary. Thousands of villagers and border guards from both sides were involved in the standoff in no man's land.
The Indian border guards fired stun grenades and tear gas at border guards and the public.
Although the two countries enjoy strong political and economic ties, the border area is plagued by violence, with numerous incidents of Indian border guards killing or injuring Bangladeshi civilians. The Bangladesh border guard says it has blocked construction at multiple sites.
Surprisingly, on January 5th of this year, BSF started their construction without any prior notification. In some areas, it was observed that fences were positioned within 45 to 50 years of the Zero Line, which is a clear violation of international law.
India has fenced nearly 3,300 kilometers of more than 4,000 kilometer long border with Bangladesh. Under international law and mutual agreement, both Bangladesh and India are prohibited from building any kind of security structure within 140 meters from the Zero Line without mutual consent. However, between 2010 and 2023, India erected fences in about 160 locations, causing disputes. The interim government in Bangladesh has blamed the former Prime Minister, saying she made unfair concessions to India.
The public took a strong stand alongside our border guards, which is why they were compelled to stop the fencing work at various locations.
India recently summoned Bangladeshi acting High Commissioner just a day after Dhaka called in New Delhi's High Commissioner. India says there's a problem with illegal migration from Bangladesh.
We have an understanding with regard to fencing the border for security. Our two border guarding forces, BSF and BGB, have been in communication in this regard. We expect that understandings will be implemented.
Although both sides have expressed confidence in resolving the issues through dialogue, observers warn the recent spike in tension could worsen the dispute. They say diplomacy is urgently needed to prevent a deeper rift between the neighbors. Tanvir Chowdhury, Al Jazeera, Chapai-Nuabganj, India-Bangladesh border.
That wraps up our regional and international news segment for tonight. Thank you for joining us as we bring you the latest updates from around the globe. I'm Malcolm Carter. Good night. See you next time. Back to you, Bibi.
Thanks, Malcolm. Up next is the 3D weather forecast. And that's it to be 2 Headline News for this Thursday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 5:30 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.